Welcome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Mighty 147 WVOL Nashville Heritage Station. And I am Robin F. David, your host. Welcome to RFD Talk, and it is Monday evening again here in the greater Nashville. I am elated and excited to be with you listeners and viewers here today. It is Monday, October 25th, 2001, and this year is approaching close to the end. I am so excited to be here. As your host here on the RFD Talk, some of the things that we will be discussing and having a dialogue, because of course I want you to call in and ask RFD some questions tonight. So get your questions ready if you are here with me live, or if you are here with me on YouTube, or if you're here as a listener, please call in here today and ask my guest we're having today. We'll have a second part with Jenee Johnson, and we'll be talking about healing and the importance to heal in this time of tough times. And we are so excited to have part two. But before we go into part two with Jenee Johnson, I want to welcome all of you viewers. And some of the things that you will hear here at the RFD show, we'll be talking about family, relationships, leadership, personal development, inspiration, beauty tips, and lifestyle. All those fun things to help you become and live in your truth, become that better version of yourself. That's our goal every evening. So if you're in your car, I want you to just sit back for this next hour and find out how you can be the better version of yourself. Because my mission as Robin F. David is to empower people to live in their truth and walk in their truth and be all they can become. So we're going to be teaching tips like that each and every week. So I'm so happy that you're here with me. And also, I definitely want to shout out before we get started with our topic today and our guest today. I want to talk about my sponsors, mention those who really are support to RFD. And I want to shout out Shea Me Down Butter, which is one of our sponsors. And you can find her, that business on Facebook. There is the email address will be shaymedown06@gmail.com. And there is some lovely handmade body butter that's just delicious. If you like all different fragrance, she has some fall fragrance, and if you like lavender, which is my favorite one, lavender is good for calming you, relaxing you, and making you feel really good in your skin. So you want to check them out on Facebook at Shay Me Down, or you can email. And then we also have a new sponsor today that I want to mention, and it's called Majestic Elegance Candles and Company. And what Majestic Elegance Candle and Company does is they have 100% soybean wax candles. Have you all tried the soybean candle? It is such a nice candle. You can use it several different ways, and it's toxin free, so it's great for you to breathe and won't harm your lungs. It doesn't leave any toxins in your body, or in your on your skin, or in your home. So it's definitely one of the best candles you can try. So we want to shout them out today and thank them for being one of our sponsors tonight. And if you're on my Facebook page, we want to thank you for being here and following me on Instagram and Facebook. We want to say share and like, so other people will definitely hear about how to handle and be more calm and have more inner joy, and how to work through healing in these tough times. This topic is really a sensitive topic for me, healing in tough times. In the last couple of years, it has been it's been challenging with all the different pivots. We've been pivoting our business, we've been pivoting our lifestyle, we've been changing. So many things have been changing so rapidly. And so it's just been a lot for all of us. And I think this topic today on what Jenee is going to be bringing us. It's going to be really juicy. So get your questions ready. Text them in, call them in. We're going to be looking forward to hearing from you tonight. So we want to tell you we appreciate you listeners for being here with us. Also, definitely want to say that it's the weather changing, right? All this weather changing, y'all. One of the things today we want to know what to wear, because if you're in Nashville, you know what I mean. In the morning it's hot and you like, okay, cool, I want to wear something light, and then by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it's like, get your coat, it's freezing. Temperature changed so quickly here in Nashville. So I am like, how are you guys doing with all this fall changing, and everything is just rapidly changing for us, going into the winter month coming soon, approaching up on us. And it's exciting because this is the time of the year. November is really beautiful. The leaves are pretty. Then you have, a lot of festival things going on. We have this week here in Nashville, we have the TSU is having their I'm having a brain, but it's the homecoming. Thank you. It's the homecoming here at TSU. So I know if you're in Nashville, we've been doing football and homecomings and things like that. So I'm excited to see that happening here this week. That's going to be much fun and fast. So how many are going to be joining that? I bet it's going to be cool, getting all that fun food at the festival and seeing people in the community and at TSU, all that great stuff. So Jenee Johnson is waiting in the green room, but we're going to also talk about the word for today. We always have a word or a comment or sometime I use a quote, but today's word would be, what did RFD say? And I'm looking to put that up on the screen. Just give me a second here. I am moving to that segment right there. What did RFD say? So today, the word would be preparation. Remember I mentioned that we have a lot of change going on, and you got the holidays coming. And so what did RFD say? Preparation means the action and process of making ready or being ready to use or to concentrate or to be prepared for. So when I say preparation, means the action to process of making ready or being made ready to be used in a process. When I slow down and take a breath right now, preparation for me, when I think of that word for our word for this week, I think of it in many ways. There's a saying that preparation, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That comes to mind when I think of preparation. The reason I chose that word, because last week when I started this journey here at the 147 the mighty WVOL, I knew that my life was going to need some more preparation personally, development, learning, growing. How do I service my amazing listeners here each and every week? And one of the things preparation is preparing yourself daily for your tasks, for your weekly tasks, for your monthly tasks. So I thought of preparation, and I also think about preparation when I think of the time that we're living in. With our title topic for tonight is Healing in Tough Times with Mindfulness. Preparation, to me, sometimes when I think about the pivoting that we've all had to take, either with our career, in our families, the laws, just so many changes, all within less than 12 months, you have to prepare. When I think of the holidays coming up, I think about the shopping and things like that. And the year before, we couldn't go out and shop, right, a lot. But this year, they're talking about the Black Friday, that we may not be able to go out and get things off the shelf. A lot of the grocery stores still, and some of the warehouses, rumor has it, news is saying that Black Friday might not be the biggest day of online shopping. So we want to prepare ourselves that things might not be the same for Christmas and Thanksgiving with the way things have been happening for us in our country. So I think tonight, learning how to heal through all these changes and prepare through all these changes, we really want to listen to what Miss Jenee is going to teach us. Because even when I think of mindfulness and preparation, when 2020 came, I was already a mindful person, but it was difficult to really get still with myself and breathe because it was so many changes. Um, my job laid me off. I had moved to a different area. I used to live in Rutherford County, then I moved to Nashville, Davidson County, and everything was changing so quickly. So for me, the word preparation is a word that kind of says set yourself up for success or set yourself up for if things are not going to be the way they used to be. Like for Christmas, we might have to not be able to get the things that we wanted this year on sale on Black Friday. So we need to prepare how we're going to be a family this year and what is going to be coming down the pipe for us if we can't do our online shopping, which was the new way of shopping now, going into your online. Because now if you go into most stores, they say, well, if we don't have it on the shelf, you can always go online. But rumor has it. So what do you know? What do you think, and what would you do if you went this year and you couldn't get the things for your family and friends? Are we prepared for these days that are ahead of us in our world of new pivoting? Are we accepting the new pivoting way of shopping, living, and our jobs, and our new ways of how we are socializing with each other? How are you handling those things? And so those are the things I wanted to talk to you about today, a little bit about RFD and her preparation at the end of the year, because at the end of the year, it always makes me think about how do I want to prepare for the new year and holidays coming up, and family and shopping is one of the things I wanted to see if you all are prepared for. So with no further ado, we're going to go to the green room, and we're going to, and so this week's word is preparation. So I want to finish with that. That's what RFD wanted to share with you. So now let's get ready to go and bring our amazing guest, because we don't want to miss some of the great things that she's going to teach us about healing in tough times. So we want to, everyone, get your questions, get your calls ready, and come on and call in. And we're welcome, Jenee Johnson, teacher today and spiritual teacher and advisor today. Welcome, Jenee. Welcome
Thank
back
you.
to We're so
Thank you. It's
happy.
good to be here. Hey, Nashville.
Yes, Nashville. Yes. So we're happy to have you, Jenee. Happy Monday to you. I
Thank
have
you.
a few questions for you. We were talking about preparation, and this the end of the year. We have a lot of preparation. Some of it is preparing for really good things and hopeful for the end of the year. And then we're also preparing that there may be some changes coming down the pipe that we're not really have paid attention to. And I was mentioning to some of our listeners that some of the stores shelves were empty, and I know we went through a little something over a year ago where we didn't have toilet paper and other things like that. And I just wanted the guests to, or you to maybe, help us deal with these times that we're living in. Like one of the questions I have for you: when people through this year lost family members or couldn't go see family members in the hospital, those type of things, or couldn't have the weddings they wanted, those type of things. What would you tell people how to handle trauma when trauma has been such a long journey for us in the last year and a half? And
Yeah.
what do you say? What about trauma? Uh, you know, would you say mindfulness is good for us? And how do you describe that type of trauma that we've been through with all this new pivoting in life?
Yes. Thank you, Robin. Hello, Nashville. Thank you for having me. I'm visiting you here from Oakland, California. Really powerful question. I mean, yes, we have been asked to pivot. A pivot is when you have a course that you're on, and a change is required. And in this year and a half, what we have experienced is um, a pandemic, a global pandemic, worldwide public health crisis, and in our country and in some others, a heightened awakening around social justice or social injustice, and um, a rising demand from the people that the harm that is often committed on Black bodies be looked at and addressed and stopped. So let me first say what trauma is. Trauma is an event or an experience that has an effect on the body. The event is a sense of actual danger or threat or harm. And the experience that happens in the body when we feel that when we're in that event is what we call fight, flight, freeze, appease, or dissociate. You just come right out of your body. Your body is there, but your mind, your sensibilities are not. This fight, flight, freeze is wed with a feeling of helplessness. That there's a helplessness to you are helpless to escape. So you may have a threat, but if it's met with adequate resources, then that's not trauma. Trauma is when you have this sense of threat, but it's met with, I don't have enough resources to respond. And what happens is it overwhelms the mind and the body. And the effect is that there's a disintegration, there's a dysregulation in the brain and then the entire system. And it can have lasting effects. So the truth is that we're really designed to heal from those that time when we call it when we're hijacked. Ah, something that takes us not only by surprise, but like I said, when you don't have the resources to respond. And it's something that gets stuck in the system and could be triggered. You can move away from the event, and then there's a memory of it in your body. So we call that post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, where you're away from the thing that happened, but something else happens that causes you to have a sensation, have a reaction, have a sense of fear. And so, what we want to do with that is number one, pay attention to your system, acknowledge when things are difficult and when things are hard, and when you don't have the resources, inner, especially inner or outer resources to respond. And the ultimate healing balm of trauma is connection. So many people experience very traumatic things in their childhood, but they went on to do great things in life. So, for example, right from Tennessee, is it Nutbush in Tennessee? Our people, Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Her mother left the family. It was traumatic. And she had ongoing chronic trauma in a marriage where there was emotional and physical abuse. And yet, and still, look at the amazing things she went on to accomplish. Part of that was because as she went on, she had connection, connection with people that cared about her, that believed in her, and that helped push her on. There are other people. When you look at Dr. Maya Angelou, she had trauma as a child. She was sexually abused. She stopped speaking, as a matter of fact, for many, many years. But what did she have? She had connection. She had her grandmother. She had a safe place to be. And then she had a teacher that believed in her and challenged her, giving her books of poetry and things to read. And she said, I don't believe you can read that poetry because to really appreciate it, you've got to speak it. And it challenged her to begin to speak again. And, oh wow, look at what she ended up contributing to the world. So I want to say that if you've been through something that knocked you off your center, if you've been through something that dysregulated you, if you've been through something where you feel that I just did not have the inner or outer resources to meet that experience, connection, not moving through it alone, but reaching out for what we call co-regulation. It's like when a baby cries, what happens? Our natural instinct actually is to pick the baby up and do what? Pet the baby, rock, soothe through movement, through petting, through humming, through singing. That's called co-regulation. Yes, co-regulation. And so we need connection. We need human connection. Yes, we feel sometimes that we would have lost our mind without connection, even if it's online. That's how we've connected a lot this year. I have a friend that I worked with 25 years ago, and through the pandemic, we met every week and we talk, we laugh, we drink tea, we cried together, we shared life, that social connection. So even though we were in uh, shelter in peace, I call it, shelter in place, we could, even now, you may not be fully socially connected, but you can do it online. You can, even little nuggets of social connection, like when you go to the store, taking that little extra moment to engage with the clerk at the store. During the pandemic, there was a health food store that was open. I guess it was considered essential. And in my community, this health food store is it's a little extra. So I enjoyed going there and just walking around, smelling the soaps and the essential oils. I bought a ton of beauty products that I really didn't need, but it was just my way of comforting. And one of the clerks there, he would come from around the counter and we would just walk through the store together because I was good company for him as much as he was good company for me. And he'd tell me about the different products. So sometimes what is required is that we just extend ourselves a little bit, and you will find that other human beings want to meet you because they are just as hungry for connection. So this trauma is an event or an experience that has an effect. It can be actual or extreme sense of danger or harm, or it could be just something that we imagine is dangerous and harmful. But what happens is it sends this experience of these these stress hormones run through our body, the adrenaline, the cortisol. And what we want to do is we want to meet and co-regulate. We could do that with the breath. When you invite deep breathing, it invites the body to calm down and to relax. The breath is the body's system that invites calming. The breath invites the body's calming response. So taking it, you could do it right now, taking a deep breath in, sigh out. Oftentimes, you'll notice as people are doing a working or doing something, and they'll just sigh in the middle of it. That exhale, that inhale, and letting go invites the body to relax, and it helps to metabolize the stress. So stress and trauma actually go hand in hand. But if our stress and our trauma are not addressed, it can lead to chronic health issues. And that's why trauma is considered actually a public health issue, because it can have a ripple effect. So it can just not only affect me, but now it affects my family. It can also have an effect on your body. Chronic stress and trauma are the underlying culprits for heart disease, high blood pressure, accidents, cirrhosis of the liver. Can you believe that? and even at the very extreme end, suicide. So when these things happen to us, we want to address them. You want to seek out help through just even somebody that you love in your community. And what I always recommend to people is, this is homework right out the gate, some homework. Put together a list of people that are in your village. They may not be people that you see every day, but you know that if X, Y, and Z happens, I can call person A. If A, B, and C happens, I can call person B. Have a list of loving, trusted resources, people that you can call in the midst of a challenge. So it's always good to have that, because that's how we heal. We heal together, we heal in community. And you need to have folks that you can call. Sometimes it's not even about somebody giving you an answer for something, it's just having someone who will listen. There's a beautiful video that Dr. Brene Brown has online. It's on empathy. EMPATHY, empathy. This ability to feel with someone when someone else is going through a challenge. And she has these little cartoon characters talking to each other. But one of the things that I love in this video that comes up, one character says to the other, I don't even know what to tell you, but I'm so glad you came to me. I don't even know what to say, but I'm so glad you came to me. And then the little character puts his arm around the other one. Sometimes it's not having an answer. Most times it's not about an answer. It's just being a witness to someone else's suffering and crisis. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. I don't need somebody to tell me something. I just need somebody to say, I see you, I hear you. Yes, I can understand how that is hard. Sit down, let me make you a cup of tea. And just someone to just be with you. Grab your hand and hold your hand. That loving, kind touch. Look in your eyes.
I
Even
say that. I say I agree with you. I think those are definitely important. I noticed that people, once I went through my biggest trauma in 2015, when we met in person at a retreat, you and I, and that was one of the things that I just needed, was someone to just hear me, uh, not really understand the trauma of losing a young son to gun violence, because I wouldn't want to, but that empathy is so important today. I think if we practice that more, instead of just always trying to give someone some type of advice or tell them what to do or how to do it, if we would start to be better at just listening and being that person who just said, gave that hug and let the other person just be. Because I think sometimes I learned, I'm a certified life coach as well, and I learned that with your family and friends or people in that love village, you're not trying to get services like a counseling service, or they're not going to listen to your tips, or it's better not to try to get them as your client, right? But just to listen to that person. I think you hit on a really good point right there, as we are going through so many things, and sometimes we're always trying to be a fixer for people, like, oh, let's fix this for them and tell you to do this and how to do this. But I think in the times that we've been through, we really need to just be seen and heard, and just a good hug. I love a really good hug, because when I met you, that's what you gave me. I had someone ask me, like, where do you know her from? I was like, from her gentle hello, wonderful hello, her loving hug, so that impact is so important. So yes, I think you definitely know that is some good tips. So tell us more about what people can do to heal through trauma.
Well, I think that you want to remember that seeking professional help is often overlooked in our community. and we overlook people who actually have been trained to sit and listen. They've been trained in the art of listening, and they've been trained to have resources to share. And a good listen also brings up some good questions, good inquiry. And sometimes once again, it's not the solving, it's asking you some deep questions that help you to go in and find the answer that's within your own self. So I definitely highly recommend, if the trauma is really life shaking, earth shaking, that we seek professional help. Our family and friends and loved ones are great. We need them too. And sometimes we need the support of someone who has been trained to listen and to guide through trauma and to look at the red flags that may show up for us. So I think that trauma is widespread. The research says that 89 to 90% of adults in America will experience in their lifetime some kind of trauma, some kind of event where that sends the stress hormones through the body, where they feel helpless to escape. This is not uncommon. It is a common human experience. The key to getting through it is connection, is connection. So that's what I'd like to say about trauma.
Love it. Thank you for what you said about trauma. So we're also going to talk about, thank you. I think you really, I hope the listeners got that because I got that. That was really good. So next question I have for you would be, what is resilience?
Beautiful. So resilience is our ability to um, not only bounce back after adversity, but resilience is our ability to have to be fueled enough, to have our inner battery filled, charged enough would be a better way, to meet adversity. And there are four primary domains for resilience. There's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. You can be challenged in one and not challenged in another. And yet, the challenge in one will affect everything, all the other domains. So each domain affects the other. I'll say it again: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And they're interconnected, and it's an interlocking system. And what we want to do is have opportunities to clear when we experience stress. That usually is what shakes our resilience. We want to build capacity in any domain, and that means we want to be able to stretch beyond what's normal and then stabilize at a new level. So, for example, um, your check is late. You know how money can just be a stressor. The check is late. Something has the mail, it didn't come, and the body starts, right? So you could feel the heart beating faster, physical. Your mind is going, okay, how am I going to pay this bill, that bill? Where am I don't have money for gas, blah, blah, blah. Oh, emotional, you start feeling anxious or sad. And spiritual, you start wondering, you know, did 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 the all leave me? Am I left alone? So it is in the domain, though, of the emotional that we waste the most energy. Because what often happens, let's just say, the check comes. Whew, and we can pay the bills, we can buy the gas, but because we've been revved up. The incident may have gone away, but the palpitations, the residual of it can last. Perfect time. You have an argument with your sister. And then you come to an end. It ends. You get off the phone. And yet and still, the energy of it, the emotional tax of it is still there. And so, what we want to do is we want to have exercises, practices that help bring us down. And that's where the breath comes in. That's where the mindfulness comes in. That's where the heart math practice comes in. So I'll give you a very simple breath practice that helps you to tone down the volume on emotions that are draining. It's called heart focused breathing, where you breathe slow and deep, taking the breath through the chest or the heart area, slower and deeper than usual. We want to plug up the energy leak in the emotional domain and rebuild our resilience capacity. And when we plug up that leak, it affects everything. Breathing slow and deep through the heart, that's plugging up that emotional leak. It's also plugging up any leaks physically. The body begins to relax. With the slowing down of the breath, the mind starts to slow down. Yeah. And you can start reconnecting with your spiritual beliefs and values. All through the breath. Bringing the breath slow and deep through the chest or heart area. Breathing slow and deep, slowing down those emotions, slowing down the heart rate, recalibrating the body, slowing down the racing thoughts. And that's what we do. That's an in the moment practice. You don't have to wait. You don't have to go sit on a cushion. You don't have to go to a mountaintop. You can just do it where you are.
I really enjoyed that moment with you because I never thought about like just in the moment how to, and you definitely shared with us a way to just calm the heart racing down, just in the breath, the power of the breath.
Yes.
That's why I'm so excited we have you tonight. And thank you for coming back for part two because I couldn't wait to tell you that I did some of my homework, but I am still working on my inner. Well, your breathing techniques from last week is what I'm sharing with you about this one today have been so powerful. So I know that I'm going to take this nugget here and be practicing it again going through the following weeks because again, all of your steps have made me be more aware of inner joy, inner peace, and calming myself and aligning myself. Even though I've been practicing mindfulness, it's so good to have a refreshing and not always having to just have that set up, right? And then what you just said, like to do it right in the moment. The
Right in the
power
moment.
in the moment. Power in the moment is just wow. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Because you have that's right, no mountaintops, just do it now in the moment. You have the power to tamp down the volume on depleting emotions. Our emotions are the main drivers of our physiology. The emotions can either drain us or renew us. And it doesn't mean that you never feel sad or disappointed or any of the emotions that are on the lower scale of the emotional guidance scale, but it means that you don't want to be hanging out there and letting those depleting emotions, remember that's what's driving your physiology. It's going to drive what's happening in your body. They're going to drive your thought life. It's going to drive what's going on in your heart, in your tummy. So you want to go, okay, let me just stop for a minute. That's a tough one. Let me take a breath and say, how can I shift and regain balance so that I can actually move forward and not keep having the energy leak from me, because
I
that is
love it.
not productive.
I love that. I never thought about the energy leaking from me. Oh my greatness. Thank you. I have a few more questions. I want to get as many in as we can. I
Sure.
have, if you don't mind, my next question is, so did we already answer that though? How do we improve the quality of our resilience? Did you already answer that? And
Well,
then,
I can answer that. You improve the quality of your resilience, not in the moment that you need it. Not in the moment of the adversity. In the moment of the adversity, you're finding a way to, you've been rocked, you're finding a way to regain your balance. You do that heart focused breathing. You do the heart focused breathing, by the way, throughout 3 times a day, 10 minutes a day. That is the prescription, because the heart has its own brain, it has its own energetic field that goes out 4 feet from the body. So you want to always be tending to your heart, giving it love and attention. And you do that through that heart focused breathing, even when there's no challenge. And you do it when there's a challenge. Now, what you want to do is you want to tend to your lifestyle. Do you have a lifestyle that is a lifestyle of flourishing? And there's 6 habits. They're called 6 habits of happiness worth cultivating. This is research from the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley, University of California at Berkeley. What they say that there's 6 habits that you should cultivate. The first one is kindness. Be nice. Be kind. Open the door, step aside, say good morning. And I love that, because in the South, that beautiful Southern hospitality that's part of Southern culture is something that you can reach for. Be kind, because check this out: kindness lights up pleasure centers in the brain. When you are kind to others, it lights up the same pleasure centers in the brain as food and sex. Kindness lights it up. So the body goes, I'm being nice. Aren't we happy? Yes, we are. Kindness. The other thing to cultivate is gratitude, thankfulness. Be thankful. I think I gave you homework last week. Have a gratitude practice. Get a nice little journal and write down what you're thankful for every day. The research says do it at least once a week. But you just take time and write out, what am I grateful for? My husband and I have a practice. We call it our practice. And we sit in front of each other and we tell each other what we are grateful for the other person. I'm so grateful for how hard you work, honey. He'll say to me, or he'll say to me, I'm so grateful for the delicious meals you cook for our family. I notice, how because I'm using the pandemic to be more creative. I'm trying to make new things and make the same thing but different. So we have a practice of just telling each other what we're thankful for. That elevates the entire mood. And you know what? It helps you see that, oh, they see me. They see me. So gratitude, writing your gratitudes and then offering gratitudes to others. I am so thankful for you, you know? Yes, you can lose weight by being nice. Let go. And the next thing actually is forgiveness. Let go of grudges. Stop holding grudges. People have hurt us, they've betrayed us, they've been disloyal. Whew, it can be a lot. And if we hold grudges, it's like holding tight and expecting the past to be different. It is not going to be different. But what we can do is say, I let go. It doesn't mean you have to restore them to a relationship. That may be appropriate in some instances, but it means I stop trying, I stop expecting things to be different I stop expecting the past to be different, because the past can never be different. And I stop expecting revenge, and then let it go. So there's gratitude, there's kindness, there's forgiveness. The other habit of happiness is movement. Move your body. Movement is medicine. When we dance, in our culture, we like to dance. Movement is medicine. Run, swim, walk, whatever it is, a little every day. 30 minutes a day is the recommended prescription. Movement is medicine because not only is it helpful for your body and your heart, but it activates happy hormones in your system. And if you ever notice that when you have finished dancing or having a nice walk, you just feel a little better. You're uplifted. The other piece that I have already mentioned to you is social connection. Connect with people. Make it a regular to connect. Now, recently, a group of women that I know each of these women from different parts of my life. I just called them together for dinner one night, 6 of us. And now what's happening is each woman is taking a turn to host a dinner during the once a month. So we just did one last Friday at somebody else's house. We'll have it planned. We've got our January dinner planned. In December, we decided it's the holidays. We're going to just go out together, and we're going to do a walk together for November. So it just caught fire. Then somebody says, "Well, I'll host next." And now it's a thing. So be creative with the people around you. It doesn't have to be 6 people, it could be 2, 3 people. Just get together. So gratitude, kindness, forgiveness, movement, social connection. And the last habit of happiness is mindfulness. Learning to be present. That's what mindfulness is. Learning how to be present, cultivating this ability to be present. And we do that through quiet sitting, or what's also called meditation. Just sitting quietly. Use one of the apps, the Calm app or Insight Timer, and they'll teach you some basic sitting, quiet sitting, and just sit quietly. And your mind's going to wander, and you say, "Oh, mine is wandering." Come back. We're sitting quietly right now. Because what that does is it trains your ability to pay attention. And your attention is the best gift you can give anybody when you're having a conversation. Rather than thinking about what am I going to say next, just be there and listen. It helps you to develop the art of listening. But when we are able to be present and attentive, it lowers our anxiety, y'all, because it's the ripping and running and the mind spinning that makes us more anxious. Just be right here where you are right now. Are y'all paying attention?
I love it. I
Like,
love the
snap
power.
out of it. Pay attention. So be right
Oh,
here where you are, right?
yeah, and that is a practice because I have to just add to that. I started like just being right there brushing my teeth. Like that's the real practice of the
Beautiful.
power of the moment and really, yeah, come and it does help your anxiety because I remember I told you when 2020 first started, I had already been like practicing mindfulness and being present, but it was difficult because it was so many changes, from work to relationships and all kind of things, not knowing how you were going to still function each and every day, right? You don't know what was going to come down the pipe. So being still and being present was very difficult for a minute, but then I was like, you got to get this anxiety down because anxiety can really, really cause a lot of craziness for you.
It can wreak havoc in well, when you're anxious, you're not peaceful. When you're
Yeah,
anxious, you're thinking about a future that's not here yet. When you're anxious, you are wound up, and ultimately you're making everybody else around you a little bit crazy. So
yeah,
when you can just be present and trust God, surrender to the moment, and say, right now, I'm in this moment. I'm listening to Robin and Jenee, and I'm taking something in. I'm just going to take a deep breath and land myself in this moment. The next moment will reveal what is to be next. And I'll give you this practice once again that we did last week. It's called 3 breaths. when you feel overwhelmed and like you're a bit anxious. First, take a breath. Second breath, relax the body. Invite the body, say, body, relax. And then on the third breath, you ask yourself, what is important now? Not what's important tomorrow, just what's important right in this next moment. Three breaths. It's a micro practice of mindfulness. First breath, you connect with your breath. Second breath, you relax your body. Third breath, you let the question come up, what is important now? It could be something as simple, oh, let me get a drink of water. That's the next thing. And then, okay, what's the next thing? You just bring yourself to living in the moment. We cannot do anything about the past, and we cannot address the future that is not here yet. But if we tend to this moment and we tend to this moment well, we are actually creating a better future. We arrive at the next thing fully in our bodies and in our right mind and able to engage with whatever is next. So we want to slow it down. Slow down. We don't
I
have
love
to walk.
that.
Yeah, we don't have to know the how of everything. I just need to know the how of the next moment. The how of the next moment, get my car keys. Okay. The how of that next moment, get my coat. The how of the next moment, walk out the door, lock the door. Keep yourself in pace with moment to moment and allow your life to unfold so that you can what? So that you can enjoy your life, so that you can
Mm.
enjoy your food that you're eating, so that you can enjoy your loved one who's talking to you, your child, your grandchild, your beloved. Be present. So often we're not even listening to the people that we say we love. Sisters, we say we want these people in our lives, and then we don't listen to them.
That's true.
Just
And
slow it on down. And brothers, the same thing. Slow down. Turn your attention to just slow it down and be present. So that's what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is the ability to be present in mind, body, and surroundings, knowing what's going on and holding that kindly with an attitude of kindness and being curious. Hmm, I heard that. Oh, I not only heard what she said, I heard a feeling. I heard how she felt. I could say, wow, did that hurt you? Wow, that seems like you're very happy about that. You know, you're able to respond really like you're there as opposed to being somewhere else. So that's what mindfulness is. So once again, these are habits of happiness. And this is how you build and take care of being resilient because you're building your inner battery. Gratitude, forgiveness, not holding grudges, kindness. Remember, kindness lights up pleasure centers in your brain, movement, social connection, and mindfulness. That's how you build inner calm and resilience.
oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you. We have one other question before we get to wrapping up pretty soon here. I definitely want to get this final two questions. Possibly, I know one of these questions definitely want to get is what is the right within experience, Janice?
Yes,
Janae, I'm sorry. I don't
no
know where
worries.
I meant to say Janae. What is the right within experience? Tell our listeners, Janae, what
Mhm.
that means.
The right within experience, like the song from the Fugees, Lauryn Hill, how you gonna win when you ain't right within? So the whole notion
Oh,
of right within, that it was inspired by that line in that song. The song is called Doo Wop. How you gonna win when you ain't right within? The right within experience is a mindfulness program that teaches these practices to people of African ancestry so that we can reclaim our humanity, our joy, and our well being. And we want to reclaim that. Reclaim, it's a, the word is Sankofa. Go back and get it. go back and get it. We want to reclaim what has been lost through our constant experience of racism and other adversities. So the right within experience teaches people who are in Black and brown bodies how to get back their humanity and get back joy and get back the practices of well-being, which I say that freedom, liberation is a lifestyle, honey. Thriving is a lifestyle. It's not just a, a moment of self-care. It's a whole way of being. So thank you, daughter of light source. So that's what the right within experience is. So I'll be offering this course in January 20, well, in early 2022. We'll be teaching the neurobiology of liberation. How does the mind, how does the neuroscience support us being free? We'll be looking at reclaiming humanity, joy, and well-being, and we'll offer it to people who are in Black and brown bodies. And it's designed so that we can just, ooh, woosah, bring some calm to our lives so that we can then manage the challenges that face us in a better and more productive way.
I love it. This the new program that you all can connect with her, the right within experience. I'm super excited to see this evolving and coming to the brown skinned people like us who need to be very in tune to our well being and our emotions and how to be mindful and all these great things that you shared with us today. I love how you said that was from Lauren Hill. Uh, that when she sing that in the song, you have to say it for me because I can't sing it the way
Yes,
she did it.
how you gonna win when you ain't right within?
When you ain't right within, I love how you came
How
up with
you
that.
gonna win?
Yes, because that's important. And to order to win, you have to be. That's what I want to say is you have to be right within. And I think you get shared today with us a lot of great practices for our listeners and our viewers to start practicing. So, what other things would you like to share with us? We may have 2 more minutes with our listeners. So, where would you like them to, how they reach out to you to follow up with you and to stay prepared to take this course in 2022, this new experience we are? I'm looking forward to signing up for that course. I'm like, I
Yes,
need
we're going to pilot it for people who are in organizations that serve the community on the front line of social justice or community service, and to people who are thought leaders, entrepreneurs, people who are doing new things, because it's people in those two categories who are kind of on the our front and center of bringing, whether it's programming or bringing products and services to our people. And we need to be right within so that the quality of what we bring is better. And then we can, those of us who are working with the community, can then share these very same principles with the people that are in our sphere of influence. So we just want to really be about energy balance, you know, asking and noticing, because we're energetic beings, when our energy is low, and how can we replenish that? And part of it in the mindfulness world is that the first step is just be aware. You start with awareness, and then you start tending to yourself. I think the thing that we often do, and this is all people, is we are very mean to ourselves. We have a very mean inner critic. Thank you, Anne Marie. A very mean inner critic. And part, remember, of mindfulness is that you bring this sense of presence and awareness with an attitude of kindness. That is the first rule. You can't be kind to other people, actually, with consistency, if you're mean to yourself. So one of the things I want you to do for your homework, I want you to notice what am I thinking about?
Mm.
How am I thinking? Because to change and develop new neural pathways, new brain structures, it's based on what we think, what we do, and what we pay attention to with consistency. It's not the occasional off thought, it's what you're thinking about on the regular. How do you hold that person on the regular? But more importantly, how do you hold yourself? Are you unkind to yourself? Are you always, So slow down, take a breath, and turn your attention to yourself with kindness and with love.
Thank you, Jenee. This was awesome, Jenee Johnson. We are so happy that you showed up and did a second part with us today, Healing in Tough Times with Mindfulness. I look forward to finding out more about your program. I hope the listeners will contact you at JeneeJohnson.com to follow up with her, get on her email list, find her on all her platforms at Jenee Johnson. Jenee Johnson, which is JeneJohnson.
Yes,
And
just follow me on Instagram. That's a great
follow
place
her on
to connect.
Instagram and stay
Or
in contact.
LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn. Okay, great. We are out of time here at the mighty 147 WVOF. I'm so excited tonight that we had all this great information, all the feedback from the other listeners and viewers from YouTube, Facebook, everyone out there. We appreciate you tonight coming in, leaving your comments. We look forward to maybe having you back someday if you're in the good old Tennessee. We would love to give you some sweet tea and some biscuits all down here in the good old Nashville. Thank you, Jenee. We love you, and we'll see you
Thank
the next
you.
time. Look forward to partnering with you and collaborating you in 2022, possibly. All right. Have a great evening. Thank you, listeners. Thank you for being here with us tonight. And it is our time is out. So we say good night to everyone. Have a great week, and thank you all. Thank you all for being here with us. WVOL, Berry Hill, Nashville. I was getting tongue twisted.
Sure, you did it.
I know, I still got work.
Oh, you did well.
Be nice to yourself, Robin. Didn't I just tell you that?
I'm still working. This is episode 4, and sometimes I like to work. I gotta be nice to myself. Jenee is
Are we still live?
We are about to cut us off. This is our shenanigans behind the scene. So yes, I am brand new. We're on week 4. Thank you, Jenee, for being here with me on week 4. And yes, let me be nice to myself. I'm
no
getting better.
talking bad. You have a right to be in the lane of learner.
I am in the lane of learner.
And the lane of learner, that's what we do. We make mistakes. And you have a right to make mistakes and recover. Are you listening to me though?
I'm listening to girl. Let me tell you, you've been with me all week this week, right? I'm telling you, I'm gonna be practicing, gonna re-listen to this again. So I'm gonna cut off I'm gonna cut us off now because I know this is going to run over an hour for our viewers. But viewers, yes, I'm gonna be kind to myself. I had a fabulous episode 4. Come back next week. Love you.
Did. You're wonderful.
Love you, sis. See you later.
Love y'all. Bye, Nashville.